name is Arthur Anderson. I I teach physical education as well as health right here at Mirror Acres Middle School. This is my diversity plan for my diversity issues in education, class EFD 552. And as you can see, this is my plan, my PowerPoint plan, and I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. By the way, like I said earlier, I teach health and physical education here at Mirror Acres, as well as I coach football, basketball, and track and field for all the boys programs here at Mirror Acres. All right, what is diversity? Diversity includes everything that we are and everything we are not. Diversity encompasses all those differences that make it unique, all right, including but not limited to race, color, ethnic background, language, nationality, sexual orientation, religion, gender, age, socioeconomics, and physical and mental ability. Basically, covers a wide variety of who people are. In my eyes, diversity is trying to make sure that whatever the kid's background is, whatever the kid's socioeconomic is, whatever his disability is, basically, I try to make sure that I find any type of avenue to help that student achieve what is at stake, achieve his goals, as well as learn whatever the rubric or whatever the standard is at that moment. So that's what basically diversity in my eyes is. All right. Of course, it has here diversity and is an inclusive practice that includes gender, race, age, disability, linguistic differences, socioeconomic status, and cultural background. So basically covers a wide variety. So you have to find ways to try to make sure that whoever is trying to learn that particular standard or that particular rubric, that we try to do whatever we have to do, whether it's to make a song and dance, whether it is to put it on the board and make them write it up a few times. We try to find any kind of way to make sure that the kids understand what the rubric is. My school, Mary Acres Middle School, best school in Dougherty County. That's me being biased, but of course I'm going to be biased. I'm a football coach. But anyway, Mary Acres Middle School is involved in a number of educational programs, including the PALS program, which is the Partners of Alternative Learning. This is a program where kids that may have fallen behind in their grades, and they use the PALS program in order to try to catch up and be in their right grade by the end of the year. And those kids are included in our class, as well as the Oak Tree program, which is another program that's housed here at this school that is more or less for people with behavioral problems that they will not put in an alternative school, but they'll put in the PALS program. And they're also included in our school or in our classes. So not only we're looking at races and ethnic background, we're also looking at diversity among different types of students and different learning abilities of those students. And so at my school, we have those different types of programs. We're also a Title I school, as you can see here, and we also participate in the academic bowls, math counts, and weekly current events. Mary Acres serves as a pilot school for the learning and serving program, the prep programs, as well as 7th and 8th grade post-secondary readiness programs. Performance in a nutshell. Mary Acres overall is higher than 19% of the schools in the state of Georgia, similar into the district. Its student academic growth is the highest among middle schools, meaning that we're the high in our CCRPI, which I'm going to explain to you later. It demonstrates or shows that among all the middle schools in our district, we had the most growth in our CCRPI, which is a big kudos for our school. 54% of its sixth grade students are reading at or above. And I said sixth grade, but I'm looking at my PowerPoint. I meant to say eighth grade. So 54% of our eighth grade students are reading at or above our target level, which is also a big ups because that's more than half. And although we're still working to get closer to 100. Mary Acres is a school that is beating the odds. And when I say beating the odds, when I show you on the next slide or so, you'll see that we have our work cut out for us, but we still are knocking down boundaries with all the adversity that we have amongst us. All right, this is basically on our website. This is our address, which is 1604 Florence Drive, Albany, Georgia. But I showed you this because we're at the 459th percentile of all the middle schools in Georgia, as well as the number of students we have at our school. Now, before our storm that we just experienced in early October, we had 608 students. But now that we have recovered from the storm, a lot of people have been displaced, including people from all ethnic backgrounds that have been displaced. And so we're now at 645, maybe 650 students. We have accumulated about 45 to 55 students between when we came back 2 weeks ago to today. We're still getting new students. Matter of fact, I had to write down on my grade a new student today because we're still getting students that are victims of the storm that we just experienced. So it says 608, but we have about 55 more students as of today. And so that, with that being said, we move on to the next slide. It shows our ethnic background as a chart, but as you can pay attention to this number right here, 100% of the students that attend Mary Acres, 100% are from low-income families. That itself is one of the boundaries that we try to overcome. One of those barriers that we try to break through to try to make sure that our kids are performing at the high level. Because when you have students that are from low income, the chances for them to be successful is usually not good. But with them coming to Mary Acres, they have a better chance because we as teachers, we try to make sure that they get all the necessary tools they need to progress to the next level. And these here are some facts from our ranking history from 2006 to 2018. And as you can see, from 2006, we started to climb until we got 2012, and then we started to decline. That's when every year from 2012 to 2018, every year or even every 2 years, we switched the zones. And now we have switched the zones now to the point we are, all the middle schools, as a population, we have the smallest population, which means it makes our numbers smaller. I think if you looked at the slide before, we had this average about 13 kids per teacher, which is a good thing because then we can do a lot of hands-on with our kids. But at the same time, it makes it where we're always adjusting to the diversity of the kids that we serve. Here is also our enrollment at Mary Acres from 1989 to 2016. It also shows how our kids are coming in and what social background and ethnic group that represent each year, the majority. And as you can see, from 94 to 2016, the majority of our kids that we serve are from the African American as well as the Caucasian ethnic background. But before then, we had non-specific, meaning that we didn't have tally on those from 89 to 93. However, those are the majority. We still have those that have biracial or multiracial uh, socio backgrounds as well here too, as well as Asians and Hispanics. Now, here are some facts about our standardized test. Here in the state of Georgia, our standardized test is the Georgia milestone. And in middle school, each grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade, has to take the Georgia milestone. Every student, whether they're in the PALS program, whether they're in Oak Tree, or they're regular students that's housed in the bulk of our school, everyone has to take the Georgia milestone. Now, if you're a sixth grader, you're only tested in two areas, which is the language arts area and the mathematical area. And as you can see uh, in our sixth grade classes, we are still trying to meet our mark. Now, among our sixth graders that are taking the math portion of the Georgia milestone, we are right below the standards for Dougherty County, but we're still way behind the standards for Georgia, which we're still working on those. Okay, as well as in language arts, we're pretty much similar statistics there. In seventh grade, we're in our seventh grade mathematics. As you can see, we're just below the mark for our Dougherty County. As you can see, the blue is representing Mary Acres, the green is the district, which is Dougherty County, and the red represents the state of Georgia. So in our seventh grade mathematics, we're still not quite where we need to be, but we're working towards that. Now, in our mathematics in the state of Georgia, we're still below the mark. However, we're just above the mark for Dougherty County. So that is a good plus because we're meeting our mark in our district. Now we're going to continue to work to meet our mark in the state of Georgia. Now, eighth grade classes, they're tested in each academic area. They're tested in the math, as well as the language arts, as well as science, as well as social studies. So they're tested in every uh, form of the academic realm of school. So if you look at our statistics in math, we're just like everybody else as far as the seventh grade and sixth grade is concerned. We're right there trying to meet our mark as to Dougherty County, but we still have a ways to go with the state of Georgia. In our mathematics and our language arts, we're the same as well. And then now I want to give kudos to a couple of people that are in the audience, Dr. Okediji, as well as Coach Rose, which is also my assistant coach here. They teach the science in eighth grade, and they have pretty much met the mark for the state as well as the county. So I want to give big kudos to those two people there.
Thank you, Coach.
And so now, with the milestones in our social studies, we still have a ways to go. We're not quite where we need to be, but we're still working towards making that happen with our eighth grade kids. So, as you can see, our science department is very, very strong, and we're trying to make sure that our language arts as well as our math and social studies is meeting those same marks. Now, the CCRPI scores, this is the website here. I'm going to click on there so you can actually see how we stand in our district. Okay, like I was saying earlier, these are all the schools that are in our district. Right there is our elementary schools, which we have a lot of. But I'm geared towards the middle school. Uh, we're second among our middle school. But let me go ahead and re-elaborate and kind of give you a overview of how this is. Robert Cross, they're expected to be at 84 on their CCRPI. Okay, mainly because they are a school that you have to test in. So mostly the gifted kids and the kids that have a background that is for education, they are going to be at those schools. If you remember the slides before, I was at we had 100%. Mary has 100% of low income kids, and among that, we are still the highest among our two schools that are similar, meaning that we are showing a lot of growth because last year 66 was a 48 or 44, which means out of the two schools that also are similar to us, we had the largest growth. I think Marvin Middle was at 50 and Radium was at maybe 48 or 47. And so we had shown the most growth. And so that I want to show you that, to show you how we're still making large leaps and bounds. Now to get back to my plan for our diversity is basically very simple. If we're going to celebrate our success, I want to celebrate that by making sure that I accumulate the music that represents all genres and all different types of ethnic background, as well as decoration and foods. So then we can also take in from other cultures that we also serve. As well as I would like to train other teachers, other students, and other stakeholders. Stakeholders could be anyone that is representing Mirror Acres or is interested in helping the students in Mirror Acres to respond to the students and their different cultures, as well as not only to try to learn from them, they can also learn from us, as well as we should ensure their success by doing all those things. And that is my plan for our school for as far as diversity. And this is on my references. Most of my data comes from the Darden County School System webpage, as well as our improvement plan, as well as the book that we're studying in this class. And again, my name is Arthur Anderson, and this is my PowerPoint for my diversity issues in education. Thank you, and may you all be blessed.